the people.
We need somebody that's going to hear the people's voice.
The truth the mainstream won't touch.
This guy is, by definition, a globalist.
And the stories that matter.
Rav's own Ben Berquam.
Right up over this hill, we got an armed cartel. I see him.
Live.
Breaking news right now here on Real America's Voice.
Unfiltered.
These people are domestic terrorists.
And unapologetic.
We're here to take a stand for God and country. Does feel good, doesn't it?
America's Voice Live starts now.
And welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gray. It is Thursday, the 31st of July. Let's get to the day's top stories. Thank you, as always, for joining me here on Real America's Voice. We appreciate your time spent. Texas, along with many other states, are making moves to require proof of citizenship and residency in order to vote in elections. Americans want fair and honest elections, and by God, we're going to get it. More on that today. Also, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt held a presser earlier today where she addressed the media, took questions. President Trump is also slated to sign an executive order at the top of the 4 o'clock hour here in about 1 hour. I'll give you the latest from the White House today coming up. And then later, the Senate race in North Carolina heating up after former Governor Roy Cooper announced his candidacy as a Democrat against Michael Whatley and Don Brown. But the question is, who would be the best candidate for the seat? All of that and more coming up. But first, I do want to start here. The latest discovery in the investigation of the Russiagate. FBI Director Kash Patel made a shocking discovery. Multiple so-called burn bags stored in a secret room inside the bureau that contained thousands of sensitive documents on the origins of Crossfire Hurricane. You can't make this stuff up. Burn bags are typically used to destroy declassified documents, but looks like the Goonies forgot some of the bags, probably because they tried to hide them so diligently, out of sight, out of mind, or maybe somebody was helping us out. Either way, it doesn't matter. In case you missed it, this is what Kash Patel had to say about finding a secret room on Joe Rogan a few weeks ago. Listen.
Me, as the director of the FBI, the former Russiagate guy, when I first got to the Bureau, found a room that Comey and others hid from the world in the Hoover Building, full of documents and computer hard drives that no one had ever seen or heard of. Locked the key and hid access and just said, no one's ever going to find this place.
What?
Yeah. So my guys are going through that right now.
What's in there?
A lot of stuff. I mean, that's the thing. People are like, well, okay, go arrest him. And I'm like, okay, well, how about you let me run a methodical investigation?
It looks like that methodical investigation has dug up some real treasure, and it's ongoing. This really is a full circle moment, considering Kash was the chief investigator of the Russian hoax years ago. He's the one that uncovered that the government was illegally spying on the Trump campaign to begin with. His findings are what got Mueller and Durham appointed as special counsels on the case. And now one of the documents that Patel's FBI found in a burned bag was the classified annex to former special counsel John Durham's final report, a damning report on intelligence that completely undermines the Russian narrative and what the FBI really was up to. Our friend John Solomon has asked President Trump about this annex and says that Trump has promised to declassify all of it, maybe as early as this week. Time's running out. This is exactly what we expect to find. Listen.
Here's what it's going to show. We already established that Barack Obama and John Brennan knew in early July 2016 that Hillary Clinton was concocting a fake Russia collusion story to try to harm Donald Trump's chances of winning. We're now going to have absolute emphatic evidence that the FBI, the people who open up on Donald Trump, on Carter Page, on George Papadopoulos, they also knew that Hillary Clinton was pulling this dirty trick, and they were playing into it. They were using the Steele dossier, a direct product of the Clinton campaign. They were using people like an Australian ambassador named Downer, who was a good friend of the Clintons. All these people were part of that dirty trick, and the FBI knew before they opened up, and as they were opening up, and as they were continuing, that Hillary Clinton was behind this. That is what that annex is expected to show all of us.
Yeah, all the key players currently on the team for Donald Trump. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, FBI Director Kash Patel, DNI Director Tulsi Gabbard, and the Attorney General Pam Bondi are working on declassifying this bombshell, which will reportedly be handed off to the Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley, who's been after the white whale for years. It's quite frankly shocking that we even have this much documentation on the Obama-Clinton enterprises and their criminal deeds. Trump says it's pretty astounding to be vindicated after all of these years. Here's part of what he said.
What they've done is so bad for this country. And it really started right at the 2016 election. And there's a difference when you know it and when you know it and it's all written down for you. I mean, it's all there. It's right there. The orders, the memos, the whole thing is right there.
Were you surprised when you saw it all laid out?
I would have thought they maybe would have thrown it out. I don't know. They handed it. They say, put this in highly classified. It was in highly classified, in areas that normally you wouldn't get to. But I guess when you put it in there, it's a file, right? And they got to it. And it's unbelievable. When you read it, it's unbelievable. A real hoax.
I do think it's shocking. More continues to spill out today. Connections to George Soros and his organization. It is shocking, but it just continues to come out. I do wonder if a courageous whistleblower could have aided Patel and Gabbard in these discoveries. You wonder. It was 20 FBI and CIA agents who confirmed to Tulsi Gabbard's team that Obama's team manipulated the Trump-Russia intelligence. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are more who have a lot more to tell. I think there's a lot of men and women out there scared to risk their lives and honestly their careers. But who are sick about this blatant attempt to cover up maybe a bit more? This could be the final nail in the coffin. Definitive evidence, proof that there was a coordinated effort to conspire against the duly elected incoming president, Donald Trump. There's no statute of limitations on a conspiracy charge. CIA Director Ratcliffe seems to think the DOJ is going to have a hole-in-one with this annex. Listen to this part.
John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate Committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is frankly completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And so, Pam Bondi does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency.
Yeah, federal strike force is going to be key in all of this. Justice has been a long time coming. And it's what the American people want. It's what you want. That's clear. A resounding mandate for the Trump administration. Rasmussen reports pollster Mark Mitchell says his polling indicates just that, too. Here he is.
This is getting back to the Obama stuff. Agree or disagree with this statement about the manipulation of intelligence in the Obama administration? Accountability has to take place. It is critical for the survival of our country that people who perpetrated such crimes are held accountable. Talking about Crossfire Hurricane, that's a Mike Flynn quote. 48% strongly agree, 20% somewhat agree. That's a 70% number. And that gets back to the 30% trust the federal government. 70% want this system fixed.
System fixed. I just don't see how the architects behind Crossfire Hurricane are going to explain this away. It's just not possible. No amount of MSNBC hits could save them now, even though the out-of-touch outlets sure can try. Oh, listen to them try to cover up everything in this story. Here it is.
In an effort to try and distract from the uproar over the Jeffrey Epstein case, President Trump is trying to rewrite the history of Russia's meddling in the 2016 election and accusing former President Barack Obama of treason. The Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, alleged Obama and his deputies engaged in a, quote, seditious conspiracy by manufacturing a false assessment that Russia meddled in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump's campaign. To be very clear, these allegations are demonstrably false and so ridiculous that it led to a rare rebuke from former President Obama's office.
They call themselves journalists over there. Wow. They should be ashamed, but shame is something they don't have capacity for. There's something to be said about leaving the past in the past, but this is not that. The deep state has been waging war on the America First agenda for a decade now, and specifically Donald Trump. They're not going to stop now without a flurry of arrests and consequences, which we pray for. Attorney General Pam Bondi has the chance to send a clear message that undermining the will of the American people will not go unnoticed or unpunished, and I hope she does, even with the annex in hand. Look, it's going to be an uphill battle. There will be questions about authenticity, about who put that in the burn bag and where the burn bags came from and whose order did it and all of this. I'm sure the courts will throw up hurdle after hurdle and wrench after wrench, but it's a fight worth having. This is a fight worth having. Donald Trump has admitted that he went easy on Hillary Clinton during his first time around in the Oval Office in the name of moving forward, but he says he feels differently now, and how could he not? About going after his political opponents for their obvious crimes. Listen.
The concept of putting her in jail, indicting her, all the things that you have to do, it's tough stuff. And I said, we don't want to do that. In fact, you remember I made speeches when I mentioned her name, they started to lock her up. Yeah. And I said, no, this is after we won. We just won. And I said, we have to get back to, we want to heal. And yet they did it to me. Yeah. So I feel differently. I mean, I'm a human being. I have my feelings too. And so I feel differently about it. Obama, what he did was terrible. What Brennan did and Clapper and Comey and all these lightweights, they're stupid people actually. But what they did, and so unnecessary. And they made it really hard. But ultimately, I don't know, they toughen you up. You either learn that you can do that. How many people could handle that? Yeah. I've had so many people said, how did you handle that every day? And they come up with these different scams. They're all scams, and they're still doing it. They're doing it now.
Yeah. In my opinion, there's going to be an obvious case against the likes of John Brennan, James Comey, James Clapper, Andy McCabe, and all the rest. Don't forget Susan Rice and all these other bit players. There's going to be too much for them to hide behind. That's what I truly believe. Prosecuting Barack Obama, that's a different beast. We all know that presidential immunity covers a multitude of sins, and it will likely cover many of these, if not all of them. But my good friend John Solomon has a pretty clever recommendation for the Justice Department in catching Obama by giving him a taste of his own medicine. Here he is.
I want to address Obama for a second. I know President Trump has every right to be frustrated with him. I think President Trump's analysis last week was right. I think my immunity rule might protect him on the original charges. That's what most legal experts tell me, that ruling is so sweeping it will protect Obama for what he did in office. However, Barack Obama can now be summoned before a grand jury. He cannot take the Fifth Amendment because he has immunity from prosecution. He'll have to tell the truth. If he lies as a private citizen about what he did as president, he'll no longer have that immunity. And that is a trap that Obama is sitting potentially facing. And I want to say the irony to that, because on January 5th, 2017, he presided over a meeting in the White House where the FBI had just cleared Mike Flynn of any wrongdoing. And they schemed in that meeting how they might be able to jam up Mike Flynn. And they came up with the idea, we'll lure him into an interview, catch him into a lie, and then prosecute him that way. Barack Obama now is about to face a potential similar situation as the one he created unfairly for Mike Flynn.
Have to answer the questions. I like it. It's bold. But as he said, it's not like it hasn't been done before. This bombshell could be the thing to rock the deep state. Big props to Patel and Gabbard for digging in deep. Americans want justice, you see. So it's time to get ready to hit back hard and be in it. It's going to be a long fight. It's going to be ugly. There's going to be a lot coming out. All right, up after the break, Texas, along with many other states, working toward better voting requirements, meaning proof of citizenship along with proof of residency in order to cast a vote. I'll discuss that up next in detail.
Is your body ready for summer?
We're going to build a body you can be proud of. You just give me 30 minutes a day for 21 days, and I promise you the weight will come off.
This is 21 Day Fix, the perfect program to get you summer ready.
I am in perfect shape for my bikini.
I had that sexy little beef.
Get simple fitness, simple nutrition, fast results in just 21 days.
Get ready for summer with 21 Day Fix. This week, try it free at 21dayfix.com. That's 21dayfix.com.
Some people are worried that they won't be able to get food, whether it's because of food shortages or rising prices or, God forbid, even a disaster. But right now, check this out. This tote, it's got breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even enough for snacks for up to 4 weeks, guys. And right now, when you order one of these 4-week food survival kits, you get the second kit absolutely free. Now, you see that little square on your screen? That's called a QR code. And here's how to use it. Pick up your smartphone. Now, just open up the camera app like you're gonna take a picture. Hold it up so that the camera can see the QR code on the screen. You see that? The link popped up right there. Now go ahead, you tap that. That link's gonna take you to this deal right now. Now see, these kits can last up to 25 years. They taste great, and they ship for free. This is your food security plan. And right now, it's buy one, get one free. So that means it's double your value. But that's only if you scan the code before the deal ends. So go ahead, scan the code to buy a 1 4-week food kit, and you'll get that second one absolutely free.
Rav Family, from the group who brought you the hit songs 81 Million Votes, My Ass, MAGA Nation, and Trader Joe, comes a brand new single. Daddy Trump is available everywhere, and we need you to make some noise. Go download it on iTunes, and let's run it up to #1 on the charts for President Trump.
So I just want to thank everybody very much. Thank you.
Get ready. You're about to get bombed by the truth bomber.
Didn't raise y'all, but I had to step up. Put the Ayatollah on a no-cap checkup. He calls me Daddy Trump. NATO knows what's up. Why they play pretend, I call they bluff. Kim and Vlad acting bad, throwing fits on the floor. BB screaming from the back, saying, Daddy, there's a war. I walk in like Sunday school.
All right, in Texas, a move underway that is like several other states to require proof of citizenship and residency in order to vote. It's like a pretty good idea, honestly. I can't think of any reason not to have that in place, but those on the other side certainly can, especially after what we saw in the 2020 presidential election. We need security. 20 million votes appeared out of nowhere in favor of Joe Biden, and during his presidency, where we saw millions of illegal aliens cross the border and be allowed to vote as well. Some places, anyway. We know that happened. We don't know the numbers. We all know that the Democrats are just playing dirty. We have the Russia hoax. It's all there for us to see, from stealing elections, using illegal aliens, to falsifying intel against the political opponents. I wouldn't put much past them at this point. Here with me to discuss it is former Congressman, Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union, Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel, nice to see you today.
Always a pleasure to be with you, Steve. Thank you.
Look, I just want to know what you think about all of this. What about, I mean, it seems pretty simple. But Texas is getting a lot of grief from the left. I don't know if it matters. You're going to do some redistricting, apparently, which could create more favorable districts for the Republicans. You know, like they did in California years ago. But apparently now that Texas wants to join the party, it's a big problem. You know, it's interesting, Colonel. Only 17% of the members of Congress from California are Republicans, and yet 40 to 45% of the state votes Republican.
Yeah.
And they want to complain about Texas, don't they?
Yes, they do. The hypocrisy is laughable. And remember, these are the same people that wanted to make the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico states just so they could get additional congressional representation. But, tomorrow, speaking of California, I got to catch a plane out to California. Guess what? I'm going to have to show a picture ID in order to get onto that aircraft. Now, does that mean that the folks at Dallas Love Field and TSA are racist, or the folks there at Southwest Airlines? Absolutely not. So, I just happen to be black, regardless of what Joe Biden says about my voting for Donald Trump. So I don't see where this whole thing about picture ID is racist. But what I do know is that in the last election of 2024, 12 of the states that Kamala Harris won, and she did not win that many states, they are all states that did not have any voter ID requirement. And you're right, when you have allowed all of these illegal immigrants into the country, and remember the left fought very hard for them to be counted in the census when it should be only citizens counted in the census for representation in our halls of government. It's about time we corrected it, and we're on the way to do that here in the state of Texas.
You know, I wrote about that 15 years ago. California at that time, I estimated, had about 7 members of Congress that did not deserve and should not be entitled to. It gives California more representation in Washington that it deserves. It also steals from states like Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and others that should rightfully have those members of Congress and don't, because California runs a game where they count everybody there, don't care where they're from. And so they're overrepresented in Congress. They're overrepresented in the Electoral College as well. I mean, this is a problem right down the line, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a systemic problem, but not just the legal immigration issue, but it's also the population shift. California, Illinois, New York, some of these other states are bleeding population. Many of them are coming here to Texas. So, those people also need to be counted. Since that last 2022 election, I think you're going to see something very different. And the maps just came out late last night, early this morning, and the Democrats are upset about it. And here in Dallas County, we have already seen that there's going to be one congressional district that has been moved north out of Dallas City proper, and that's a congressional district that probably is going to end up going to the Republicans. But then again, you've seen an incredible amount of population growth in the northern part of Dallas County and over to Rockwall County and up toward Greenville along the I-30 corridor going east.
So will it pass? I mean, that's speculation on the internet. Is you've got a fair amount of left of center Republicans, or left-ish Republicans, if you will, in the state house in Texas. Will it get through? That's the real question for folks today.
Well, it should. I mean, we do have big concern. You have 36 House Republicans in the Texas State House join with 49 Democrats to select the Speaker of the House. Hopefully, they will pull their head out of their fourth point of contact. But the big thing that a lot of people are concerned about is, once again, the Democrats pulling their shenanigan of, going AWOL and leaving the state of Texas, which they're already raising money to do that. And I talked to a state senator today. I think what we need to do is vacate those seats. If they leave, it's called going AWOL in the Army. And people that don't show up for work, they are fired. And if we vacate those seats, you change the number for the quorum, because right now we have some, I believe 88 to 62 is the majority, Republicans to Democrats in the Texas State House. This should pass without any problem. We have 20 to 11 in the Texas State Senate. So these redistricting maps should go forward, and the governor should sign them.
Yeah. Before I let you go here, Colonel, I got to ask you about this. I was pretty shocked when I heard Caroline Leavitt actually put a number to Nancy Pelosi's net worth. $413 million. In fact, even more remarkable than that, Nancy Pelosi last year, apparently her portfolio was up 70%, outperforming every major hedge fund in America, quite handsomely outperforming every major hedge fund in America. Nancy Pelosi, man, she knows things. How is she able to pick stocks so well? It's called the Pelosi Act, of course, stopping insider trading, which she denies. But how else would you explain this?
You don't have any other means by which you can explain it. Or how does someone such as Alejandra Ocasio-Cortez, who was a bartender, now all of a sudden she has a penthouse apartment in Washington, D.C., or someone like a Jasmine Crockett, now all of a sudden she has a $8 to $9 million worth, and she's only been up there in Washington, D.C., I think a term and a half. So we have to start looking into this, and I believe it is correct that we need to investigate someone like a Nancy Pelosi. My wife is a wealth management advisor. She just scratches her head because she says no one can be that good when it comes to picking the stock market.
No, nobody could be that good. We want to stop this kind of grifting going on in Washington, especially with our elected officials. Colonel, I always appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. God bless. God be with you.
God bless you, my friend. All right, up after the break, a lot happening at the White House today. Caroline Leavitt held a press briefing earlier where the president is also set to sign an executive order at about 4 o'clock today, a little more than half an hour from now. Say more about that coming up after the break.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Yep, your worst nightmare. Your car broke down. Now you're worried if it's going to cost you a fortune in repair bills. Unless you already called CarShield, the legit #1 auto protection company in the country. When you're protected with a plan through CarShield, the process is smooth like ice and done in as little as 3 steps. 1. First, the tow truck takes your car to the shop. The cost of towing covered when you got a plan through CarShield. Next, you probably need to get around while your vehicle's being repaired, right? 2, plans through CarShield have rental car options too. Then comes the best part. 3, when you pick up your vehicle, you don't have a big repair bill to worry about. CarShield administrators get your covered repairs paid directly to the shop, so you're back on the road with no worries. Call now to get an affordable plan through CarShield for your vehicle before it's too late. When you call CarShield, whether you got a small problem like a power window motor that could cost a few $100s, or a big problem like an engine or transmission that could cost you thousands of dollars, you're taken care of. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the country, and their administrators have paid out more than $1 billion in auto repairs. That's billion with a B. CarShield is the choice that gives you the CarShield guarantee. Your rate never goes up, and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Look, it's inevitable. As your car or truck ages, the parts and components are gonna fail. It's not worth the risk. Call CarShield now.
Waiting until your car breaks down is too late. Call CarShield for coverage on up to 5,000 parts and get the CarShield guarantee, where your rate never goes up and your coverage never goes down, no matter how many claims you have. Call 800-653-8201. 800-653-8201.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
All right. Earlier today, Caroline Leavitt held a press briefing at the White House where she addressed the media on multiple topics, including the fact that the economy is doing better than ever, despite the left saying there would be a recession this summer. Oh, take a look.
So-called economic experts repeatedly said that the American economy would be in a recession this summer. Well, summer is here. It's almost over, and that recession does not exist. Yesterday, in fact, real GDP growth in the second quarter increased at a 3.0% annual rate, significantly above expectations. President Trump's America First policies are driving economic growth, as he always said they would. And this growth is being driven by the private sector, not the government. Federal government spending fell for a second straight quarter, while real business fixed investment rose by nearly 2% following its first quarter surge. President Trump is right-sizing government spending, reversing the damage done by the Biden administration, and allowing the private sector to flourish. The same so-called experts claimed that President Trump's tariffs would spike inflation and hurt American consumers. But consumer spending growth just accelerated, and inflation remains right on track. For the past 5 straight months, core inflation has come in below market expectation and remains in line with the Fed's 2% inflation target. Meanwhile, customs and tariff revenues have already totaled more than $150 billion since President Trump took office, leading to the first June budget surplus in nearly a decade.
Yeah, America's doing better than ever with Donald Trump at the helm again. That's true in a lot of sectors. Speaking of President Trump, he is scheduled to sign executive orders at the top of the hour to end unfair de minimis tariff exemptions. We here at Real America's Voice will bring you the live coverage, so stay tuned for that. We'll have all that coming up for you in just a moment. Now, House Democrats are suing the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. They say they're being blocked from visiting immigration detention centers holding illegal aliens. Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin, for example, leads the effort, saying lawmakers are being denied information about detainees and prevented from checking on their living conditions. Don't kid yourself. Jamie Raskin doesn't care. He just wants a photo op. A dozen other Democrats joined Raskin for a bigger photo op. Breitbart News reported Democracy Forward partnered with the Center for American Progress, all funded by George Soros's Open Society Foundations. Is behind many of the lawsuits against the Trump administration. That just keeps you up to speed on that now, doesn't it? The U.S. Senate confirmed Joe Kent to lead the National Counterterrorism Center in a 52-44 vote. Happened Wednesday. Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina was the only GOP member to vote no. Of course he was. Kent, a Special Forces veteran, called it an honor to serve again and vowed to relentlessly defeat America's enemies. Democrats strongly opposed his confirmation, pointing to his associations with so-called far-right figures and conspiracy theorists. He paid Proud Boys member Graham Jorgensen and Patriot Prayer's Joey Gibson for campaign consulting back in 2022. President Trump announced Kent's nomination in February, praising his track record hunting terrorists and his personal sacrifice, his wife Shannon killed by ISIS. Shannon Kent died in a suicide attack in Syria back in January of 2019. ISIS claiming responsibility. She was the first U.S. female combat death in Syria and the first killed by enemy fire in over 3 years. And regarding his confirmation, Kent said, in honor of our fallen, we fight on. If you're stressed about back taxes, maybe you missed the April deadline, or your books are just a total mess. Well, don't wait. You've been waiting long enough. The IRS cracking down. Penalties add up fast. 5% a month, up to 25% just for not filing. But there is help out there. Tax Network USA can take the burden off your shoulders and stop the spiral before it gets worse. They've helped thousands of Americans just like you. Whether you're an employee, a small business owner, or haven't filed in years, or you've got messy books, it's okay. No problem. They've seen it all and know exactly how to clean it up. With direct access to powerful IRS programs and expert negotiators on your side, Tax Network USA knows how to win. They do. You'll get a free consultation. And if you qualify, they may even be able to help you reduce or eliminate what you owe. More importantly, they'll help protect you from wage garnishments or bank levies. So don't wait for the next IRS letter. Don't. Call 800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/rev to talk to a real expert at Tax Network USA. Take the pressure off. Let Tax Network USA handle your tax issues. It's about time you got some relief, isn't it? Coming up after the break, the Senate race in North Carolina is heating up after former Governor Roy Cooper announced his run to be the Democrat there. He'll be unopposed. Michael Whatley and Don Brown are trying on the Republican side, but who will be the best candidate for the seat? One of those candidates joining me next to discuss.
Tired of the hassle and high costs of selling a home? We can help. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
We got the top dollar for our house and the lowest commission that I could have imagined. The house sold in 2 days. It was so exciting for us.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide. There's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Hey there. Hey there, how are you? I'm with Disabled American Veterans. I was wondering if you had a quick minute to thank America's veterans for their service and sacrifices.
Of course, why not?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Sure.
All right, hey, well, come on in here. I'm just gonna hit record on this.
I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can't even think of the words to say of how grateful I am.
I just want to tell you guys how much you appreciate it.
But most importantly, I want to thank you for your courage and bravery.
Wow. Just thank you.
Someone here who'd like to say something to you.
Oh my God, you guys are awesome.
Someone has something they want to say to you.
Goodness.
How's it going?
So I just want to let you know how much you appreciate it. How much you appreciate it.
I just feel honored for everything you've done.
Thank you for myself. Thank you for everybody.
I get to live every day, in peace because of you.
A lot of people thank us, but we want to take the time to thank you, honestly, for giving back. And when you give to DAV, you are supporting veterans like Dave, myself. So thank you so much for your.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You can say thank you to our nation's heroes by calling the number on your screen right now and giving your monthly support of only $19.
Say thank you by going to helpdav.org right now and give just $19 a month. When you do, we'll send you this DAV blanket as a thank you and a reminder that you support those who served.
Please call or go online to helpdav.org right now. Your support says thank you to our nation's disabled American veterans.
6 months into the race to be the senator of North Carolina, constitutional attorney and former naval JAG officer Don Brown is in the pack in the Republican primary, working hard after speaking at 35 GOP club meetings and personally meeting thousands of voters. Brown thinks he's become the clear grassroots favorite. 2 recent polls show him leading the field, a strong signal that his message of fighting government overreach and restoring constitutional values is working across his state. Joining me now to discuss it is the man himself, former JAG officer, Senate candidate as Republican North Carolina, Don Brown. Don, nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me back. Really appreciate it.
Glad to have you here. All right, so Roy Cooper's in the race now. And look, we can downplay that all we want, but the truth of the matter is he was, I think, 4 times the attorney general, 2 times the governor. If you end up going up against Roy Cooper, it's going to be a battle, an uphill climb, isn't it?
It's going to be a lot of fun all over the radical governor in North Carolina history. He drove the state into the ground during COVID. As I said many times, the last time, Steve, I saw my dad alive, was looking through the outside of a nursing home in Plymouth, North Carolina, because of Roy Cooper's unconstitutional mandates keeping North Carolinians away from their elderly and dying loved ones. We're going to chase him all over the state, remind him of that. We're going to remind him of how he opposed voter ID. We're going to remind him of how he commuted 20-some murderers like right before he went into office. I remind him of how he wants little girls have to share their bathrooms and locker rooms with boys and men. He's a radical with a Southern smile, but he's a radical. He's a grit-eating radical. He is going to be a target-rich environment from a political standpoint, and I can't wait to chase him down from Marietta Murphy and all over the state and remind him of his radicalism. And by the way, Steve, by the end of the year, North Carolina will be a Republican majority state. We've closed the gap. We will be a Republican majority state. He's now talking about reaching out to Republicans because he knows he can't win. But this has been the most radical governor in North Carolina history. Nobody has ever hit him as hard as I'm going to hit him. By the time I'm done with him, he'll wish he never heard my name.
Well, there you have it. Don Brown laying the groundwork for a campaign that's going to take some grit and it's going to take some fight. It's going to take some money, too, Don. How do you get, I mean, look, you know this. Roy Cooper's going to get papered with a pile of money, truckloads of it from out of state and everywhere else. They'll probably spend $100 million trying to win that seat, won't they?
Well, you know, there have been all types of astronomical estimates. Steve, I've heard that amount. I think somebody said Roy raised $3 million yesterday. They know where the Soros money is, where the radical Democrat donors are. But look, here's the thing about it. Remember, we've still got, first of all, we got 9 months to go to the primary and over a year before the general election. Most of that money is probably going to be spent after the primary. But I remind folks that, Kamala Harris outspent President Trump, and he still kicked her all over the field. You remember Michael Bloomberg, a billionaire, outspent everybody. So while this is going to be very important, and certainly we can't discount the amount of money that's going to have to be raised and spent, there's a lot more that goes into it than just that. We've been all over the state, and as you mentioned, in about 35 counties in the last month or so, and we continue to crisscross the state. The grassroots out there is ready for an America First senator that's going to be ready not only to have President Trump's back during the last two years of his administration, but hopefully to have President J.D. Vance's back as well as we move into the first 4 years after President Trump, when there's going to be a real battle on the future of this nation. And I'm ready for that battle, and I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Don, let me ask you this. You got to clear the first hurdle first. Obviously, your slings and arrows are ready for Roy Cooper. Clearly, he has a track record and not one that's too attractive to a lot of folks in North Carolina. I know that. I have family there. I have friends there, and they're not big fans of Roy Cooper. I think that's safe to say. But you have to get over the first hurdle. Michael Whatley is in the race to be the senator from North Carolina as well, former RNC chair, good friend of Donald Trump. How do you clear that first hurdle?
Well, first off, this is going to be an issues-based campaign. So I'm running on issues. I'm not running against Michael's personality. We've got to take this $37 trillion national debt down. We've got to, and one thing that separates me from Michael, I believe, is the issue of medical freedom. He used the North Carolina Republican Party, unfortunately, as a platform to push Fauci's dangerous COVID vaccines. And I think he made a mistake to do that. By contrast, I've been a medical freedom fighter. I've fought against the dangerous experimental vaccines, took Savannah River plant to court, representing 78 plaintiffs, including many nuclear engineers, not just to the U.S. District Court in Columbia, South Carolina, but all the way to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals before Biden backed down. So I think medical freedom is going to be a huge issue that's going to separate the two of us. And our grassroots Republicans are medical freedom champions and advocates. I commend Bobby Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy, for what he's doing now to try to clean up the whole situation. But we're going to run this race on issues, not personality, but issues. And I believe I've got what it's going to take both Chairman Whatley out and also Roy Cooper at the end of the day.
Well, there you have it, Don Brown. All right, so give me your top three issues for your voters. Your top three issues. Is it the economy's always got to be number one, I'm guessing, and we don't really know how it's all going to play out. We've got the deals in place with the EU, with Korea today, Japan previously. Those are frameworks. They're not officially signed. I think the UK is only the officially signed deal. So it's really going to be a measure of where we are maybe a year from now, isn't it? Is how the economy looks and how things are playing out. How important is that in North Carolina?
Well, of course, the economy is extremely important in North Carolina, and I've been all over the state. North Carolina was once the premier, furniture-producing state in the nation, textile-producing state in Cabarrus County. I asked what happened to our textile industry in the Winston-Salem area. Where's our furniture industry high point? I grew up in a little town called Plymouth, where there was a large pulp mill, a Weyerhaeuser plant there that had 3,500 people in a town of 5,000. That's gone down to 300 because of these ridiculous trade deals the Democrats sign. NAFTA. You sign NAFTA, you make your principal economic competitor, China, put them on steroids with most favored nation status. So yes, North Carolinians are extremely concerned about what's happened with the Democrats sapping our jobs away. But I'm a believer in tariffs. President Trump has helped educate me on that when he spoke with Joe Rogan and talked about how the McKinley administration was making so much money off tariffs, they had to find a commission to figure out how to spend the money. I just heard Caroline talking about $150 billion in from tariffs alone, and so I think that's going to help. What I want to do also is I want to take out the Internal Revenue Service, Steve, not just the Department of Education that's got to be eliminated legislatively, but the IRS also. I want to end the individual income tax, and I want to end the corporate income tax. And if you think about it, Steve, you eliminate the corporate income tax, all these companies that have left North Carolina, from textile to pulp and paper to furniture and other countries, industries around the nation, will come flying back so fast it'll make your head spin. So these are some of the issues that I want to push for on the floor of the United States Senate. Our people in North Carolina are behind these issues. We're sick and tired of the government forcing us to do all this.
Well, Don Brown, you're a fired up young man, Don. I appreciate that. You got the attitude and the fire to be on the road. Tell the folks where they can learn more. You got a website, I'm sure of that.
All right. Well, thanks for the young man part. But yes, we have a website. It's brown4fornc.com. Brown4nc.com. Give the young man a little love. Come on the website and help us out. We appreciate it.
There you have it. Don Brown, nice seeing you again, my friend. Have a great afternoon. All right. Don't go anywhere. America's Voice Live will continue in just a moment.
Why aren't you getting results? Random workouts, overtraining muscles, completely missing others, wasted time. Don't do that. Do this. This is 25 Minute Speed Train. Follow me for just 25 minutes a day, 7 days a week, with minimal equipment, and get actual results.
Look at the definition. I didn't have these arms at high school.
Subscribe to Body in the next 24 hours for less than 50 cents a day and get 25 Minute Speed Train free at bodywithaneye.com.
Being single for years, what would it do to you? Would it make you sad? Would it make you lose hope? Would it make you feel disconnected? I wouldn't know, because I'm using datemyage.com. Grab your phone or laptop. Go to Date My Age. Get started for free.
Join datemyage.com today.
Oof, this is kind of embarrassing. I'm Ashley here at 4 Patriots Warehouse, and we're completely overstocked. Last year, our 4-week survival kit flew off the shelves, so we told our team, make more, and wow, did they deliver. But thanks to supply chain delays, everything showed up at once. Now we're out of space and doing something we've never done before. Buy one 4-week kit, get one absolutely free. They last 25 years, tastes great and are hand-packed right here in the USA. Go to 4patriots.com. This deal won't last long.
Rav Family, from the group who brought you the hit songs 81 Million Votes, My Ass, MAGA Nation, and Trader Joe, comes a brand new single. Daddy Trump is available everywhere, and we need you to make some noise. Go download it on iTunes and let's run it up to #1 on the charts for President Trump.
So I just want to thank everybody very much. Thank you.
Get ready. You're about to get bombed by the truth bomber.
Didn't raise y'all, but I had to step up. Put the Ayatollah on a no-cap checkup. He calls me Daddy Trump. NATO knows what's up. Why they played pretend, I call they bluff. Kim and Vlad acting bad, throwing fits on the floor. BB screaming from the back, saying, Daddy, there's a war. I walk in like Sunday school.
Well, a few days ago, I had the opportunity to have a special guest in the program discussing revelations about the Oklahoma City bombing. It occurred back on April 19th, 1995. It's been 30 years now, believe it or not. 168 people killed, 850 injured. Timothy McVeigh, convicted of detonating that 4,800-pound ammonium nitrate bomb in a van parked outside the Murrah Federal Building, and that's when all the devastation occurred. I'd like to welcome back the former news director for America's Most Wanted and the author of Blowback, the untold story of the Oklahoma City bombing and the FBI, Margaret Roberts. Now, Margaret, when you were here last, we talked about it, and I had forgotten about this. I think most people had. I remember hearing about it, another potential suspect, identified by witnesses, caught on videotape with McVeigh, but to this day, somehow, we've never identified this person. This is unusual. Tell us about why this is so important.
That's right, Steve. And it's really what qualifies this continuing story as one of the great American unsolved crime stories. 24 eyewitnesses saw a passenger in the bomb truck with Timothy McVeigh as he delivered the bomb. As my investigation, unfolding over 20 years, progresses, John Doe 2, who the FBI soon dismissed as just the imaginings of the eyewitnesses, just a mistake.
But there was videotape, right? He was caught on tape.
Absolutely. The FBI collected surveillance videotapes. Not many people know this because they're never mentioned by the FBI.
Right.
But
they
did collect the. Sorry.
It gets forgotten. Time passes, people move on to the next story. It's just brushed away.
Exactly. But it couldn't be totally brushed away because a grand juror inside the McVeigh grand jury was so upset by what was going on in those proceedings that he wrote a letter to the judge accusing federal prosecutors of rigging that grand jury by concealing the identity of John Doe 2. The grand jury also was not allowed to see those videotapes.
Interesting. So, do you have a theory on it? Do you have any idea who it might be? Have you made any progress running this down?
Yes. As my investigation proceeded and really following the footsteps of a lawyer in Salt Lake City who is at the center of the story that I tell in my new book, Blowback, he manages to connect the brutal torture and murder of his brother, who was a prisoner in a federal facility in Oklahoma City 4 months after the bombing. The lawyer's name is Jesse Trinidou. His brother was Kenneth. And eventually, believe it or not, through a clue sent to Jesse Trinidou by Timothy McVeigh himself on death row, Jesse begins to make a connection to the bombing. And what Timothy McVeigh told Jesse Trinidou was that the FBI killed his brother Kenneth in an interrogation and mistook him for the leader of a neo-Nazi terror gang. They were associates of Timothy McVeigh. Kenneth Trinidu was a dead ringer lookalike for John Doe 2. So the story that came to Jesse Trinidu through Timothy McVeigh was that his brother was mistaken for this never identified passenger in the bomb truck and
All right, Margaret,
murdered.
here's what I need to know. I think you've gotten the people going, okay, I want to know more. Where can they find out more about your work? Do you have a website they can go to real quick?
Blowbackbook.com, or by all means, jump into the very lively discussion on X at Blowback Book.
There you go, blowbackbook.com or on X. Margaret, you've got me intrigued and probably a whole lot of other folks as well. Thank you for coming back.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. All right, there you go. Interesting stuff. A new administration in Washington has brought a lot of changes, but when it comes to our broken healthcare system, the reality is that you need to take care of your own health. We're the only ones that can do it. Making America healthy starts with you at home every day. That's where the Wellness Company comes in. You see and hear from TWC doctors here on this network all the time, and you know that their products are the gold standard for keeping you and your family safe and healthy. The Wellness Company gives you the opportunity to make sure you are prepared for whatever happens with their series of prescription medical kits. Kits that contain an assortment of life-saving medications, guidebooks to assist in the proper use of these medications are all included. Additionally, the Wellness Company offers a variety of products from parasite cleanses to methylene blue to weight loss and so much more that can help you stay healthy and live longer and a more satisfying life. Make America healthy again starts at home. Do your part. Protect the health of you and your family. Go to twc.health/voice today and order. twc.health/voice. Use the promo code VOICE to save 10%. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, what makes America wonderful? We do it every day. Plus, the America's Voice question of the day. Do you think members of Congress should be prohibited from buying and selling stock? Why or why not?
Hey, just want to say thank you for your service.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure you've heard that before, but we want you to know that we understand the freedoms and liberties in this country are because of people like you who served and gave everything for the cause of freedom. We don't take that lightly. So thank you for everything you've done and sacrificed for us.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me.
We're ready for our ticket.
It's been paid.
People thank me for my service all the time. But I want to thank you for being someone
worth fighting for. You make it all worth it. If you really want to thank me and other veterans like me, go to helpdav.org and support disabled American veterans. That is the best way to say thank you and keep our promise to our nation's heroes.
You can say thank you to our nation's heroes by going to helpdav.org right now, or call the number on your screen and give your monthly support of only $19. Your support lets our disabled veterans know you appreciate them and everything they have sacrificed for us. When you do, we'll send you this DAV blanket as a thank you and a reminder that you support those who served.
When you support DAV, you're showing veterans like me that you were worth fighting for.
Please call or go online to helpdav.org right now. Your support in this moment honors our veteran service.
A heart attack? Do they have life insurance?
No.
But we have life insurance. John.
I'm trying to find something we can afford.
Fortunately, in only a few minutes, SelectQuote found John a $500,000 policy for only $29 a month. And his wife Anne a $500,000 policy for only $21 a month. Go to SelectQuote.com now and get the insurance your family needs
at a price you can afford. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Well, it's time for What Makes America Wonderful. Today's story comes to us from Central Texas, where one woman is stepping up in a big way after devastating floods ravaged the area. Dondi Person, a 54-year-old grandmother from Bolling, Texas, lives just a few miles from the Guadalupe River. Luckily, her home was spared by the devastating floods recently. However, she wanted to do something to help. It started with a simple act, picking up items scattered along the riverbank while waiting for search crews. And what began as one good deed quickly transformed into a full-scale recovery effort to reunite people with their pieces of lives lost in the floodwaters. Dondi launched a Facebook group called Found on the Guadalupe River, which quickly grew to more than 20,000 members, and it's still growing. And through it, Dondi and others began sharing photos of found items. Everything from children's shoes and life jackets to cherished jewelry, even a totem pole with its feathers still intact. People immediately began to respond. A teacher recognized her lost necklace. Another one found her missing clothing and jewelry. Dondi even helped return a dental retainer and a cat named Samson, who was located 2 weeks after the flood, safe and sound thanks to the group's network of helpers. Nice work, people. Thanks to Dondi and her growing team of volunteers, memories are being restored along with hope and faith. Neighbors coming together. That's the most American thing I can think of. It what makes America wonderful. People getting together, working for each other in selfless acts just like that. All right. Your America's Voice question of the day. Do you think members of Congress should be prohibited from buying and selling stock? Why or why not? Trish Hicks says, yeah, they are privy to information before citizens and can manipulate outcomes to profit by. The tendency for Democrats is to get elected and forget the people. Well, that might not be limited to the Democrats, Trish. Bob Burns, insider trading is the buying or selling of a company's securities by individuals who possess material non-public information about the company. Of course, because congressmen and women have inside stock information, they can trade. But if I did it, I might end up in jail. No, you probably would end up in jail. Why the double standard? Because they're in Congress. Dale Malusi, not at all. How else can they go from being a broke bartender to a millionaire without actually working for it? It's one of the perks of the job. They don't represent the people. They think the people are reprehensible, I think is what he's trying to say. That reprehensive is not a word. And we'll just leave it there for today. God bless America. A lot more in there. Sleazy scumbag, says Tim Schaefer. Can't argue with you there, Tim. Don't forget to follow me on social media so you can be part of the question of the day every day. Yes, sir. Let's see. Twitter X, Facebook, Truth, Getter. All of them. Catch the question of the day in these great places. And catch me tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to start your day here on Real America's Voice. I look forward to seeing you then. It's Free for All Friday. I'll take your calls, America. And then I'll see you back here for America's Voice Live.
Tired of the hassle and high costs of selling a home? We can help. At Ideal Agent, we'll connect you with a top local agent that'll sell your home fast for top dollar, and all this for as low as a 2% commission.
We got the top dollar for our house and the lowest commission that I could have imagined. The house sold in 2 days. It was so exciting for us.
Ideal Agent is available nationwide. There's no obligation, and best of all, our service is completely free. Call today or visit idealagent.com.
Hello friends, Pat Boone here with a message from the past. Imagine the shock of reading tomorrow's newspaper and discovering the price of gold has doubled to over $1,000 an ounce.